Well, I want to thank everyone for coming this afternoon. It's another quill in the fabric of our department that we are announcing today, that we add men's and women's hockey to the menu of athletic opportunities at the University of Providence. And we're going to do that in the fall of 18-19, which just puts us over the top in terms of number of opportunities for athletes and programs in the state of Montana. I think we just leapfrogged everyone and are on the top end of that spectrum now. Just a little background on this. Hockey emerged as the logical choice after some studying, and it just kind of evolved. I didn't, as we did with women's wrestling, we didn't want to force anything. We wanted this to evolve. And there are some reasons why that happened. First of all, there's a very strong hockey community in Great Falls, historically. The Americans have set the stage with the junior program for the young men. We have really solid youth programs. And as I've been reminded on many occasions, we have a number of adult leagues that compete, both men and women, and are very interested in collegiate hockey being part of the fabric of this community. So those points, and as well as the ability to recruit and compete in not only locally but in the region and in Canada, really kind of threw this over the top in terms of being logical for us to add. And in doing so, I want to thank the Great Falls Community Ice Foundation because it was really their collaboration and their willingness to talk this through and visit multiple times that got us to a point where it was the deal maker that we're able to have access to and use the facility at the Iceplex to really house what we're going to do in the development of these programs. So we're excited to announce that today and move forward with some additional recruits and student athletes who take up space outside our own building, which is a really good thing, beginning in the fall of 2018.
Questions, anybody?
Dave, what kind of numbers are you looking at as far as coming in, having an impact on Great Falls?
Well, I think initially we're looking at a roster size of 20 plus for year one. That also begs the question of when are we hiring coaches? I think we are well down the road to hiring one of the coaches. We were working on some background information and some options in terms of the second coach, but I like the opportunity to hire a coach very soon that obviously will dictate how many of those 20 we will be realistically able to recruit and get on board. I like the idea that it's 20 minimum, and the coaches I've spoken with thus far are saying, do we have to stop there? So we've already planted the seed that, and they have the right idea, that we can go beyond that if we can.
Will you also talk about the league and the conference that they will establish eventually?
Well, I think the men are playing in a Division II ACHA. That's our predicted place for them to land, which includes not only Montana State University, but Montana Tech, and some teams that really, it mirrors the Mountain West Athletic Conference in a way, with the addition of some Montana teams that are not Division I. So that's where we would land initially, and it's going to be a little bit of an evolution as to how we nail that down for the women. But we do have a plan for the men, and I have to believe, like happens in other sports, there is going to be a lot of what we do for the men applicable to the women's team when we get that rolling.
There's a lot of stuff going on at the Iceplex. I mean, the Americans are there. How are you guys going to fit in kind of all that ice time there?
Well, as it's been explained to me, which was integral in the decision-making process, is that given our ability to practice at times when the ice use there is minimal, it worked out to be a pretty good win-win situation, because between the adult leagues, the junior leagues or the junior camps that are going on currently, plus the Americans, there are windows of time, chunks of time, early morning, and afternoon 2:30 to 5:30 that I think we can access pretty well.
What about like games though? Would that just be when like the Americans are on the road then?
I've been told we get first choice. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. No, it will be, I think that will be the piece that is the next phase of our collaboration and the details to work out. Neither the Americans nor us have a schedule yet, so it's hard to predict how that will work out. And of course, if we do it, we're going to want to schedule as many competitions in a weekend as we can and try to do that when it's available, which would mean the Americans would be out of town.
I have a question online. It's asking, can you explain the startup costs and how you'll get going with that?
Well, we're looking for donors, always. No, it's all based on enrollment. It's all based on, can we drive the number of dollars we need to facilitate the expenses of starting the program. In this case, the hockey arena is a big piece of that because we're going to lease ice time there. It's also in the pro forma for us that we have an amount of money for capital expenditures because we're going to have to create locker room space. So those things are well within the bounds of 20 student athletes that those expenses are covered. And then more than that, our initial scheduling for competition will be in those boundaries as well. So we have it covered with the enrollment. Plus, Under Armour makes hockey uniforms. We can't forget that. Maybe not skates and sticks and helmets, but we do have that. Okay. Anything else? Well, thanks for coming.